Right. Yeah. I watched one of your videos, and you give a lot of insightful information. I was like, we were just talking before the in a pre-production meeting. We was like, yo, that's a real good lane for her on YouTube, because we specialize in helping people build their YouTube platform. That's a
Oh,
real good lane to just give people. You give them just enough information, but they got to come back for more, and that's kind of one of the keys to marketing. But the Rico. Could you speak to us about that? You had a long video. I didn't get a chance to finish it. I wanted to, but can you talk about the Rico case and some of the aspects of that? And what does that really mean? Because a lot of people don't understand what that really means. They just hear the word and they kind of just go with it. Can you explain that?
okay. So RICO is the racketeering and conspiracy crimes, which there are 33 predicate crimes. So just about anything can fall under a RICO conspiracy. And basically, the government is saying that you have a enterprise, a criminal enterprise that is engaging in conduct to maintain that criminal enterprise. And in those acts that you engage in to maintain the criminal enterprise involve either extortion, violence, threats of violence, drug dealing, prostitution, gambling. I can go on and on and on and on and on. And so, if you have a criminal enterprise that's engaged in that activity, then the government is going to be looking at you and your conspirators, co-conspirators, and the like, to take that entity, that criminal enterprise down. And that's pretty much what happened in the Tekashi 6ix9ine case. Um, I'm sure that they already had their eyes on the Trey 6ix9ine gang. And so a lot of times the feds, they sit just watch, they sit and watch and they wait. And it's not like they don't have evidence, but they wait. And you can see from the indictment, the span of time that's captured in that indictment, it's several years. Um, and so they had been watching them for some time, and then they just wait until they give them enough rope to hang themselves, which they did, which is the evidence that they picked up on the wiretaps, because people really think they have some sort of expectation of privacy in their phone calls and text messages and emails, when in fact you do not. And so they have all of this evidence now of these individuals inculpating themselves and others. And inculpating, I mean, um,
Mhm.
making themselves guilty, for lack of a better word. Right.
Right. Yeah.
Expounding on 6ix9ine in his case, now we talked numerous times about the case and nauseum, it almost felt like, but in particular, we talked about his legal team and how they almost seemingly felt as though they were taking on a little more spotlight than what they should have. That was just our opinion from the outside looking in. Expound on his lawyer team. Would you do some of the techniques that they're doing, and are they good or bad for 6ix9ine right now?
I think that he has a decent team. I think he has a good team. I actually know one of his attorneys, and I've had some cases with her, and I know that she's an aggressive attorney. She goes to bat for her clients. So I will say that he is well represented. Strategies vary from attorney to attorney, especially when you're dealing with a press case. Sometimes it's best to say nothing. Silence is sometimes golden. But sometimes you do need to push back, because you do understand that your jury pool is going to be affected by the information that is out there. And sometimes, if that information is so potent and powerful that it could affect the jury pool, you want to somehow neutralize it. And so they may be acting in that capacity. Some of the evidence that's come out has been really good for Tekashi, especially the wire conversations, which really indicate that they didn't consider him to be a member of the Bloods in that regard. And so that sort of affects the government's ability to say he's a part of the criminal enterprise. Um, it could hurt them, and it could help him with the defense that I wasn't really down, and I sort of didn't know how to get out. I was afraid at that point, at the point where things started to become criminal. I didn't know how to get out, and they threatened me, and they stole money from me and things of that nature. And then at that point, he becomes a victim. And we've seen that happen before, where you have Black defendants who have co-defendants who look white or are white, and they get to use the "I'm a victim of these Black dudes" defense. And juries, they buy that, they suck that up, because they can't fathom why a clean-cut white kid would be hanging out with all of these hoodlums, quote unquote, or so to speak.
Right, right. Absolutely. That's a good point. We actually brought that up in the podcast. We said that he's probably going to try to take that whole approach, and that the jurors and the people that watch this stuff on social media will start to make him the victim,
Of
in
course,
a particular
it
case.
works though.
Yeah.
It works because he's making real, legitimate money. Why would he sacrifice that, right? Unless he's under some sort of duress or some sort of pressure, for which he folded, right? The average person is going to understand that. Why would he throw away millions of dollars? He's the only one at the bond hearing who has millions of dollars in the bank. Why would he sacrifice all of that for criminal to rob somebody? Right? To shoot up a barbecue, shoot up a cookout. Why? It's nonsensical. And the average juror is going to think that is antithetical to anyone's behavior who's on, rising star. And they will give him the benefit of the doubt, especially if he cleans up a little, right? If he cleans up some of the tattoos and the hair is, back to Leave It to Beaver, because lookism is important in court. Lookism is important. How you appear to a jury is as important as what you're charged with.
Absolutely, absolutely. Connected to this whole, the 6ix9ine case was the people, pretty much, I call it snitching on themselves on social media, whether it be throwing up gang signs, guys going on there, putting up guns, drugs, all types of stuff. Yeah. Talk about that and talk about privacy. Do we really have any privacy? Because a lot of these rappers now, you can all you gotta do is scroll through Instagram, you can see somebody incriminating themselves.
Right.
Speak about how many cases that you actually seen, or defended that people, got caught up on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, etc. Could you expound that?
I've had quite a few. I've had quite a few of the credit card scamming cases, where you have the guys actually putting pictures up on Instagram, with the caption, "We scamming in these buildings." Like, wow. Really? And so when you get so what happens is it's an investigation when these things happen. And the first place that the investigators, whether it's state investigators or DA's investigators or Fed investigators, so they're going to social media because they know that these individuals, this group, this era, this generation, they all communicate via social media, right? People don't talk to one another anymore. Everything has to be done through Snap or IG or whatever may have you, through a text. And they think for some reason that they have some reason of privacy because it's their phone or it's my Facebook page or that's my IG page. No, you don't have anything. You don't have anything. And what people don't fail to realize is that every time you sign up for one of these social media services, there's a ridiculously long user agreement that you scroll through without reading, and you hit agree at the bottom because we all do it. Right. You don't, all of that is telling you have no privacy. You have no privacy, and you're not going to not use the platform. So you just agree. Right. And so all the information that you post is available to the government so that they can build a case against you. And they look, and so you can't use the defense, "I don't know that guy," because they got the pictures of y'all at the club popping bottles, right? And so I've seen that. I don't know him. Really? Then why y'all in all these pictures together on social media, right? And so people have to stop putting stuff on social media, but unfortunately, this is where they find their value. Right? This is where they find a value in hawking their wares and letting people know that, listen, this is what I got and this is what you don't have. I mean, unfortunately, you're not just showing those people, you're showing the government.
Absolutely. Talking on social media, we all know how it influences the world, and a lot of people now look for their information on the internet. That's their primary source of information. Yeah. Circling back to 6ix9ine and social media and information being disseminated about his case, does it help him or hurt him with the information via YouTube and different platforms and things like that, with people throwing out narratives and you seeing pictures and TMZ obtaining photos and various platforms talking on it? What does that do to a case like 6ix9ine's?
I don't think it's going to do anything to 6ix9ine's case, because I don't think the jury pool in the federal system gives a damn about YouTube, watches YouTube, or TMZ.
Good point.
I really don't. I don't think that the reach is there. I don't think they have an interest in the platforms that many of the people who are on YouTube talking about 6ix9ine, they're not there. They're not checking for that. So I don't think it'll have that effect. And the truth of the matter is, we don't show up for we don't show up for jury duty. Black people don't. You get that questionnaire, you're like, I ain't doing that. Nope. You throw it out, you put it in the garbage, you ignore it, and then you complain about how the system is not fair. But you had an opportunity to participate and you chose not to, right? So you can't complain then. You can't. You can't complain when you stand on the sideline, when you have an opportunity to do something. I've had plenty of jurors of color find a way to get themselves excused, to get off the jury somehow, some way, right? And then turn around, and I'm sure that they are Facebook keyboard warriors who are like, the system is not fair. I'm outraged, right? But they don't do anything about it.